Oh, ladies and gentlemen, now as you know I'm doing Franz De Palma films, why not this one from 1978, a damn good one, that being The Führer. That's right, The Führer, starring the legend himself, Kirk Douglas, may he rest in peace. And this is a good one because, again, similar to Carrie, it's to do with people with special powers. That's right, people do with special powers. You get a good bit of opening, and again, this one was done by 20th Century Fox. The days when they used to do good films. Well, it starts off with a lad and the dad, that being Turk Douglas. That's his son, by the way, not Turk Douglas, the son, and not Michael Douglas. And they're swimming and they're talking, and the father knows he's got these special powers. He says, you could use these to your advantage, and the son doesn't want to show it off. Now, to cut the story short, there's a war going on in about the island where he is. I think they're like Turkish or Iraq, some sort of war in that area, right? And they're killing people, shooting people left, right, and centre. Turk Douglas jumps on a boat. The guy's working with Turk Douglas, gets hold of the lad, pulls him away. And you think, well, now Turk Douglas played a long role in it because he gets blown up. Well, the boat gets blown up. And you think he's dead, but he's not. Because our mate, being the main character, jumps in water. And you find out it's a setup. The guy's helping the son, who's both been mates with Turk Douglas, is actually working on the opposite side. He wants the lad to use his powers for the evil. So it was a setup. And Turk Douglas sees it and shoots the guy in the fucking arm. Obviously, the lad's been pulled away, doesn't see that. And he gets shot in the arm. So it's now like a couple of months later. And you've now got a dirt in it. And you feel, who the fuck's this dirt? Turns out the dirt also has the same powers. That's right, she also has the same special powers as the lad. And he doesn't know it there. There's bits where she's sensing and you've got a die following them about, and the same dirt was one that appeared in Carrie. This is one that, remember the dad who had the nightmare and the hand comes out and gets her by the hand? Same actress. Like pity in that era. And she's with her mate and she can sense things, and she senses this lad. She senses his name all the way through the film. I think his name was called Diane or something. I think his name was Diane. And she has the same powers. She's got one girl in it who's a bit bitchy and she's picking on her and everything because she can sense things. And she can sense that the girl is having a baby. She's pregnant and she has to go at her. She doesn't like it, jabs her by the arm. She gets her hand, and obviously the powers can make you bleed, which, believe me, the film does get blood first as it gets near the end. So because she has these powers that can make you bleed, it causes the dirt to have a big massive nosebleed, a constant nosebleed, doesn't stop, panics the dirt, but it gets the one out. She's all in a moment, she has these powers, and she don't believe at first, but she says what they are. So she puts in a special place. It's not like a stool, but it's people who have similar, who have special powers, who have talents. And you've got one guy, I do remember him being the bad guy in the film I reviewed before. That being Dark Knight of the Turtle. But in this, he's a bit of both because he's helping her, and there's this woman who's apparently his girlfriend with our mate, Turk Douglas. There's bits here and there with Turk Douglas where he's on the run and he's trying to get the bad guy because he knows it's a setup. So there's a bit where he's pretending to be an old man. It's ironic because he's lived to be a Johnny AIDS. And they're chasing after him, and he's going on about these people who are like a firm who want the lad to use his powers, basically. That's what it's about. Again, you've got the dirt in it, and she's getting along with the other woman who obviously is sleeping with Kirk Douglas. He's his girlfriend. And she touches the dad and finds out about the dad go dying. So you've got another woman in all who's helping him and that. And there's a bit in it where she gets her hands and she's asked him what's happened because she wants to know about dying, basically. So she's talking about dying, right? And she taps her hands, and by accident, it causes her to have a nosebleed, and she falls down dead. I shit you not, she falls down dead. Yeah, she falls down dead after having a nosebleed. So there are some bits, but it's not too bloody, it's not too gruesome. And you do get him ready to find out, but it turns out they're experimenting on him, because he thinks his dad's dead. He's getting bad-tempered, and he's with a woman who he's sleeping with, who he doesn't know is working with the firm, and is using him. Well, she's with the firm, but he doesn't know that she is using him. So basically, it's one of them. You know what I mean? It's a bit of action in it, but it's more of a suspense film with a bit of horror in it. There's a bit where he has them powers and he sees the people who he thought killed his dad. And there's a lot of people remember this if you've ever seen the further. There's a bit where he's on a spinning wheel and he uses his powers and he literally uses it and kills all these sort of like a racks, batters them and makes the fun rags, not them real bile things, what move about, makes it go really, really fast, throws them in the air and kills the fuckers. I'm thinking, that's pretty cool. But yeah, because he sensed, and that guy who we thought was Dark Knight of the Turtles, he sensed that he was working with the bad people. So now they want her to come in with them because the main guy is a real scumbag. I mean, this guy is the epitome of scum. The one who we thought was Kirk Douglas's mate. He sets it up that he wants her. The woman of Michael Douglas sneaks her out. You think, hey, happy ending. But no. The dad the one her over by accident. Well, Kirk Douglas, I should say, comes in, shoots the baddies. The dad had won Kirk Douglas over by accident. They won her over, his woman, kills her, and he gets the dough. And it's one of them, really. It's like, well, these are scumbags, and he wants Kirk Douglas to get his boy, right? Long below, the lad, because he's gone bad tempered, he now expects the woman, the one who's using him. He uses the powers, and this is the bit where it's a knock. This is the bit where I would say it does get bloodthirsty, and I mean it gets fucking bloodthirsty because he's spinning her around, he's making blood come down her face, blood on her nose, completing enough to make some mess out of her. You do get a lot of blood, you get a lot of tired, but it's the aftershots when you see it because Douglas and the Doe go after the bad people. Obviously, they get caught and they get tested. Chuck just says, fuck it, I want to see my son. And the stuntbad says, see him. Because he knows what's going to happen. Goes in, that's when you see the aftershots of what he's done to that poor woman. Because he's gone at that point. The lad at that point, he's just gone. He's just done pee and utter fucking gone. There's no boy, you can't talk to him. He's off his head. He doesn't even believe it's his fucking dad. Goes and tries to attack his dad. Stats is his dad. By accident, his dad lets him go because they're on this high building and he falls down dead. The father sees it, being Kirk Douglas, out of deal, kills himself. I thought that's a bit shitter. All what he went through to die and get his lad. So he killed a lad. Granted, he was evil, but he was made that way. So we're not a death of evil. He was made that way. But it was shitty the fact they killed Kirk Douglas off. So I thought that's that shitter. But the ending's the bit what makes that up because the girl, the pretty one, the dies down the brainwash and saying, they're both dead, get over it, you can call me daddy and all that. This is the day after. She tisses his eyes, sends the dying sock, he's bleeding, and then he just blows up. Head, ducks, the lot. It doesn't know if it's Saturday there, but everything blows up, his arms, legs, everything. His head goes fucking flying, blood, tired, beautiful. And I'm thinking that is one hell of getting your revenge. Because what happened before the lad died? He looked at the girl's face. He could see into her eyes. And he'd given her the same powers. He could definitely see the fucking further. Hell hath no further as a girl stormed. She looks at him, kissed his eyes, but made him go blind, looks at him, puts her hands out like that with both of them and says, you can go to hell. And just literally blows him up. Got a great bit of music and all. I love the music in it by Francis Palmer. It's one of the best psychological horror drama films. I mean, to be honest, I'm more into Michael Douglas, Kirk Douglas's dad, different era, different time, but there are some films I like of Kirk Douglas, I like The Vikings, I like Spartacus, and I like this one, The Fuhrer. Yeah, it's a bit downbeat, like he died and his lad died, but I've got to admit, the ending is what made The Fuhrer. It was bloody at the end, but it wasn't too much blood, it wasn't too much gore, it was psychological, it was suspenseful, had that science fiction and the horror feel to it, but it was that era, when you had films, let's say, like Omens 2, it was that era, and I like it, I like The Fuhrer, and I like it that much. It's a classic. Back in 1978, It's a dud film of Francis Palmer. You definitely see why it was dud. I do say this one doesn't have as much of an Alfred Hitchcock feel to it, but if you're into expense, you're into horror, you like something with science fiction with it, check it out. It's a dud. Into then, I'll see you soon.